thank you all for coming to the Democratic Rally. I'm kbell, and I am proud to represent the Democratic Party for the 2023 presidential elections. I'm so glad that you all are here. Now, I could go from the beginning, when I was a baby, but that's not really important, and it would just really bore you out. So I'm going to start right after high school. I joined the Marine Corps, and I served for 10 years, and that included 3 tours in the Middle East. I came home, and I enrolled in the University of Texas, where I majored in electrical engineering. You may ask why this is important, and I'll answer. The Marine Corps taught me discipline, honor, and to not live at the bottom of a whiskey bottle. Being an electrical engineer has also taught me not to take shortcuts. One wrong move can cause a short circuit and make you have to restart all over, or could even kill you. My experience has made me realize that life in politics doesn't have room for shortcuts. After 15 years as an electrical engineer, I saw the bad things in this country, and I decided to run for the national representation in Austin. I won and served 6 years in the House of Representatives as a Democrat in a conservative state. Since I was a conservative state, I was able to run against colleagues from the other side of the aisle. I see Republicans all over. They are my colleagues. I respect them dearly. But I see this division in the United States between the radicals and the moderates. And I want to be a calm voice. Now I understand that the last person who said that they wanted to be a calm voice and who was a politician resulted in record high inflation, a weak economy, international disaster, and the closest we have ever come to war in Russia. Joe Biden has in doubt been a disaster, but I stand apart from the radical leftists. I identify myself as a classical liberal. I think my reputation precedes me, as many in my state, which are predominantly conservative, support me. As president, I would enact a number of policies, including Ukraine. Us, the United States, stands as a beacon of hope for everybody. We need to give support to Ukraine, but we also need to make sure that we do not cause any international incidents. That's why we need to take in refugees from Ukraine, not an exorbitant amount to overflow the country, but enough to where they know that we're being hurt. We also need to send them more weapons, more supplies, more ammunition, and anything we can do to deter the Russian Federation from annexing Ukraine and reestablishing the former Soviet Union. Our stance in NATO is very clear. We have a strong stance in NATO. We are over 90% of NATO's power. But we need to also realize that members in NATO need to do their part. We will forever and always be dedicated to NATO as I want. Our stance in NATO has been clear. We want to be in NATO. We represent over 90% of NATO's power. But we realize that others have to step in. As president, I would make sure that our president in NATO is funded, given more funding and more supplies and more military aid to our NATO allies to make sure that we can prevent the Soviet Union from ever annexing Eastern Europe again. As America, we stand for a beacon of hope. We stand for freedom, democracy, and liberty. We want to ensure those with our allies who want to ensure that our principles, Western principles, can thrive throughout the entire world. We have a lot of energy concerns in our system. The environment is undoubtedly within peril. Although we only make up 15% of pollutions, it is still our job to be a leading force in clean energy consumptions. We want to be the leader in energy in the United States. We want more clean energy. I understand that fossil fuels are cheap and they're effective, but they also are hurting the environment as well. Our consumption of fossil fuels is going to cause global warming, which will have radical effects on everything. We want to pursue research and putting in money to studies about clean and effective energy, such as wind, solar, and river and water power. We want to put in the research so that we know that these clean energy sources are effective and that we can use them to power all of America. I understand there is a push for nuclear power, and I can see the attraction. Unlike my colleagues in the Democratic Party, I understand that nuclear power is actually a very green source of energy. The only problem is, to give an example, is in Hanford. Much nuclear waste was deposited in Hanford and causing the surrounding area to be extremely radioactive. We cannot just be dumping radioactive cores into the ground in source of energy. I want to put in money to study the effects of nuclear energy so that if and when we can go to nuclear energy and we can make it clean and effective, we can supply the entire United States and the world abroad with electricity and energy to power their nations. Immigration has never been worse than before. I understand that. With Title 42 coming to an end, it is absolutely appalling how many immigrants are coming. Now mind you, we are a country of immigrants and settlers. This is nothing new of people coming to our country. That's why I am proposing to make it a little bit easier to come into our country and gain citizenship, but also keeping up the laws that we have. I want to make sure that all immigrants that come through the United States are processed legally and that they're not undocumented and we have track records of them. That any immigrant that comes to the United States has the opportunity to become a citizen if they pass the laws and if they can do what is necessary to become a citizen. I understand that our border crisis is at peril right now, but we need to fix this. And the idea that we need to push everybody away is just silly. In a matter of fact, how are we going to supplant the old population? It is shown in studies that couples are having less and less children today. That means us in the United States are not reproducing as high. We cannot keep going down in this population as we grow as a country. Maybe you should consider that immigration can be a good thing. Immigrant students are at extreme disadvantage. It is unfortunate because they come here for a place of opportunity. That is why, if I'm elected president, I want to give out student grants to people who are in high school. We have made it a law that students have to go to school and have to earn an education. So why would we bar immigrant students from seeking higher education who have shown an aptitude for it and a will to seek that higher education to one day help out their families? I want to give out grants and help schools and school districts get better teaching, better equipment, and help students achieve goals in programs so they can succeed in life. Healthcare, as I said, should also be a right for every citizen. Now, I do totally understand those who have their own private healthcare. I am unlike most of my colleagues who want to centralize and government every healthcare system. I think that the private industry can and should keep up some of the slack. But for those who cannot afford their health care, I think it is important for the government to provide some health care. It doesn't have to be the best end-all be-all. I think having good health care and the best health care should be and can be a privilege of the rich. But I think adequate health care for people to survive is necessary and is a human right. That's why I want to be able to take some of our money and put that into healthcare and health insurance. We also need to lower the drug prices. We need to make sure that drug companies are not colluding with each other to jack up drug prices so everybody can afford the prescriptions they need. I understand that healthcare is also an interesting subject because there are tons of cases of malpractice. I want to eliminate caps, but I don't think that we should have guidelines on how much you can sue. You shouldn't be able to sue a doctor for all he is worth just for a simple accident or something that doesn't affect you for your entire life. We should add guidelines to how much a person should sue. But we should also realize that patients are at the forefront of this. They are the ones who are affected by this. So they should be able to sue with free rein on how much they want. I hope you vote for me, but do not vote out of fear. Fear can turn into violence. We are all part of this great experiment, a country that has so much in common and is so divided. Remember to vote with your hearts and your minds. Vote for Cameron Bell and Kevin Lee. But remember, the United States whoever is elected. We'll see a new day, just like how, when Kevin and I are elected, we will ring in a new era. Right, Noah? You good?
Yeah.
Noah, the camera off?
Yeah, they're off.
All right.
Okay.
That was stressful.